that we have to focus on that. And from that on, I started to gain a deeper understanding of this whole process. And I here try to picture this whole web of relationships as I see it. Of course, at the center in one classroom, we have students and student relationship, their mutual relationship. And teacher and student relationship actually encompasses this relationship. So this is not something as apart from our own relationship with them as teachers and professors. Of course, there is also a relationship with university and faculty and community and so on. But it was a really important insight for me, because I often hear from my colleagues that they are grown people. We don't need to care about their personal conflicts, and it shouldn't affect our approach. But I realized that it definitely lowers down the quality of my classes and their learning process. And so what did I do? I came up with the goals during the whole semester. Of course, I set them up at the beginning, and I wanted to focus on this particularly, to enable students to get to know each other better and encourage cooperation, because they didn't have really much opportunity because they were online, and they were that was a very big challenge for them. I wanted to encourage mutual respect, acceptance, trust, and connection. That is also aligned with my values. I started this presentation. I wanted to enable them the opportunity to work on their existing conflicts, and I wanted to encourage them to recognize and focus on each other's strengths. Activities I used to actually fulfill these goals were, for example, this. I designed team projects and activities, group activities during the semester, and they were based on significant learning. They had to research on something together. They had to make a presentation. They had some team building activities and so on and so on. But I also included my students in this process of thinking about activities that will bring them closer together and help to accomplish these goals. And so one of the students in their reflective diary proposed that we have speed friending. I believe you all heard about speed dating, and they said, okay, we should have speed friending. And I was like, great, let's have that. And I will have a picture. I will show it you a little bit later. We arranged the classroom in that students were sitting in a row, not next to each other, but on the opposite sides. And when the bell rings in 3 minutes, they have to switch sides. So they have to engage in conversation with a different student every time. And it was a great success, because some of them interacted for the first time at a faculty, and they are at the 4th year of their studying. So I was really amazed, and they were also very, very amazed, and it had a great impact on them. Also, I propose we have a secret bunny activity because it was around Easter time, and I was so sad we couldn't do Secret Santa because it was in December. So I said, okay, no problem. Let's make it a secret bunny. So they draw a name. To make presentation, to give presents to some student in the class, and they really had to try. They really had to try hard to assemble some present for the students, but they need to get to know them a little bit better to be able to give them appropriate gift. And so it was really also a great success, because they really put effort to give them the most meaningful present. They also propose that we have a classroom meeting where we will openly discuss conflicts that arise that were unresolved, and it really helped them to also to show their emotions, to address some of the problems, and I think it was really also one of the critical moments that they reflected in their reflective diary. I didn't know, for example, I didn't know that this student so and so felt that way. I thought she didn't care about it at all for this problem of ours, and so on and so on. So it put them in a situation to be able to look at the problem from the other people's perspective. Then one of the students somewhere in the middle of semester, we were talking about something informal, non-formal, and she said, you know, professor, I'm really good at making baking cookies and cakes. And I said, oh, great, that's great. I'm very untalented in that area. And she said, perhaps I could bake cookies for all the class for the next time. And I said, of course. And I think her perspective from the beginning of the semester, which I could see in her reflective diary, she was really negative, and I don't think we can become better, and so on and so on. So this is really also meaningful little step in their actually thinking about this whole thing. And I also made them sign a group agreement where we talked about first, I made them think about what I want from others in terms of support, in terms of relationship, and so on. And when they wrote that down, we flipped it, and I said, of course, you want that from others, but now I want you to sign an agreement that you will give all those things you wrote to other people. So don't expect to receive that, but focus on giving that. And they were all like, oh, that makes sense. And we all signed an agreement. And for one of the last activities was painting a group picture in celebration of the last meeting of the last class that semester. And they were divided in 4 groups, 14 groups in which they worked during semester. And each group had one kind of a puzzle to paint. And when they put it together, it was a complete picture. And it was really, really something that made them think about it all. And you can see here some pictures of that, of those activities. Here in the first picture is speed friending. I made them coffee, and they were really excited to talk with each other. This is Secret Bunny and their presents they prepared for each other. These are cakes that our student made for everyone, and this is what is left. There was much more cakes, and these are students painting the group picture at different tables. And I would just like to, for the end, share some the most important insights from a reflective diary of my students. For example, this speed friending we did. They said, one particular student said the questions were seemingly simple and superficial because they had already prepared questions for the discussion to start it, to not make it uncomfortable. And she said, these questions were seemingly simple and superficial, but they opened up to many further conversations among colleagues. Moreover, the responses from some colleagues were pleasantly surprising. Unfortunately, due to schedules and various obligations, many of us have never sit down with any of the people and talked. Likewise, due to different study groups, certain groups and comfort zones were formed. This activity gently pushed me out of that comfort zone, and I was very happy to talk to people I don't normally communicate with, especially about the topics not related to faculty and exams. It is an understatement to say that some where I was. To say that some of the answers and the conversation surprised me, since I did not expect such personality and interests from certain person. This realization shook me and reminded me not to judge a book by its covers. And it was really important me to track their progress in that reflective diary. And just one last thing, because this is the entry from the end of the semester, that said, okay, just a second. Okay, so the time for exam deadlines and the completion of the exam tasks is coming. So our meeting this this week, Monday, was scheduled for the presentation of our project tasks, which are an integral part of our exam obligations. Preparing our completed text for that meeting, we decided to use that meeting to surprise our professor SIMEL PRANJIC and present her with a gift, a bouquet of flowers, a candy box, and a notebook with a thank you note. In the previous week, we have altogether summed up our positive impressions gained from the courses taught by me this semester, and that's how we came up with the idea of giving her the modest gift as a sign of gratitude for everything she taught at this semester, for all the words of support provided and consolation in challenging moments and situations in which we found ourselves as a group, and for all the moments separated from the lessons, so that she would listen to us, advise us, and try to help us. I'm proud because we all felt the same satisfaction during the collaboration with the professor, and because with that we show that we are people who recognize the importance and magnitude of other people's efforts and engagement, and that we are grateful for that. But we also show that with joint efforts we can make someone happy who really is deserved of that. And this decision to prepare a gift for the professor was anonymous, and the agreement regarding the realization of this idea, it was quick and without complications. I decided to highlight this information because I believe that it is also an indicator of a progress in building mutual relations and an indicator of how we can be in agreement and act together when we want to. I believe that numerous advices helped us in this, and as well as the many activities she organized for us and the useful materials she prepared for us during classes, and so on. And this is the final picture we drew together. So each of these parts was painted by different group. But this was also very meaningful because I made a template, and when we put it together, it showed that if we want to work on our relationships, we have to stop focusing only on me perspective and to focus more on we, and to understand the other person and to show empathy, because when me looks itself in the mirror, it shows we. And so this is on the wall of our classroom where we painted it together. And yet at the end they said that they really want some bonding moments during classes. It is not all about learning content and so on. And so during this process, I gained perspective and deeper understanding what does it mean to care for students in higher education. And for me, that was actually acknowledging that relationships are central to education, but they are different for every context. And we can only do that if we really try to understand what is the best that we can do in this situation for students to make them learn and to make them grow. Okay, thank you very much for your attention, and this is the photo from our last class. Thank you very much.